just showing the black.
Yeah, it is. It's like a 0 second comic book preview stream just now.
But it did pop up.
It did pop up, but
Okay.
it's just blank.
We'll just let's just jump right into it.
Alright.
Okay. Okay. I think we're streaming now. We got a new setup this week, so you're gonna have to bear with us. We're kind of like still working the kinks out. We have new cameras, so I think it should start looking a little bit better. And we don't have new microphones yet though, so the sound might be a little off. But thank you for joining us. I hope you did. You all know me. I'm Aaron. This is my good friend Abby, who's joining me on the stream today. We're going to talk about some comics that are coming out tomorrow, in fact. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. You know what I always like to start with, Abby. You've done the stream once. Yes.
One
okay.
time.
So you know I like to always start with facsimiles, and tomorrow we get Flash Comics #1 facsimile. This is the very first Flash, the Golden Age Flash from 1940, I want to say. But I love that they do these Golden Age reprints. They are printed on really great paper. They just look like really, really good. And so the Flash is not my favorite character, but like in a weird like twist of fate, I've been kind of reading a lot of Flash lately. Like I got a bunch of Silver Age Flash comics like from the 60s and 70s, and they're all right. It's something new. So all right, hey, hello, glad you guys made it, Alex and Jess, both of you. We were just starting out with Facsimile Comics Flash #1. This is the very first Flash comic ever made. But also, it's kind of overshadowed because it's Flash Comics and the Flash is on the cover. This is also the first appearance of Hawkman. The very first Hawkman comic is in this. They're right there, Hawkman. And Hawkman is interesting. That's another one that I have never really read any Hawkman comics, but new comics for Aaron or 60s comics. Hey man, this is a 40s comic. This is an 80-year-old comic book, and yes, it is new. It's a new printing, if you will. But yeah, really, I'm always excited when they do these facsimiles. So, I don't like to. It's maybe unfair to call it my pick of the week, but and it's not. I wouldn't say that, but. Definitely, if you like historical comics, if you like old stuff, Flash Comics #1, you cannot beat it. All right, Abby.
Yes.
Let's talk about something a little bit more current than 1940. What's something that is coming out tomorrow that's a new comic that you're really excited about?
My favorite comic that's coming out this week is going to be the Two-Face comic. This is a variant cover that's done by Christian Ward, I believe. And he, if you like the style, is the one who did Batman City of Madness, which is one of my favorite comics I think I read. It was an oversized black label one, and I still am trying to get him to read it. But the interior art is just like this cover, where it is colorful and there's a lot of extra bits in the background. Christian Ward is also writing the interior of it. And you might have seen some of the first pages if you bought comics last week. There was a preview.
A preview.
Yeah, there's the word. A preview of the first few pages in previous DC comics from last week. And they are amazing, especially when it is split. I love it because it is more about Harvey Dent being in control of Two-Face than anything else. So right now, Harvey Dent's in control, and he's going back to his lawyer roots. But he's doing it in the criminal underworld. And it's just an amazing first issue right out of the bat.
Is that Zsasz?
It is Zsasz, you are correct.
Yeah.
He does make an appearance, and he is on trial, with Harvey Dent being the one who is his defense attorney.
That's a pretty cool. I've always liked Two-Face as Batman villain. Like I think he's like one of the more dramatic villains. He's really cool. But
and the owner of the large penny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the large penny. Going to pick City of Madness up after the New Year. Good.
Perfect. Do it.
Abby recommends it.
Absolutely amazing. I can't even describe how much I enjoyed that and love it, because just the interior artist, Christian Ward, did an amazing job. And it's so cool to have a person who can be a writer and a artist. and do well at both of them.
So Christian Ward is the writer of this Two-Face series?
He is. I believe he is from what I looked at it.
And, yeah.
He definitely...
Okay, yeah, he's the writer. He doesn't do the interior art, though.
No,
Okay.
someone else is doing the interior art, but it is kind of, the first few pages are inspired by that, I feel like, especially the colorful bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, it looks very similar to, like, the art. It's weird because the art is obviously not the same as City of Madness, but, like, tonally, it kind of gives the same vibe. And that's probably because of the colors.
And that's probably Christian's doing me, like, do it like mine.
Yeah.
But
you know, it's just like talking about that because I've talked in the past of like artists and writers working together and artists or writers who are also artists.
Yes.
Like we've talked about, I talk about, you might not be aware of this, Abby. I talk about Transformers and G.I. Joe comics a lot.
Of course you do.
And what I like about Transformers is the artist Jorge Corona took over, and he's got like a Daniel Warren Johnson style. But if you read Ain't No Grave, which we've talked about because Celeste has been getting it, and I think, I might be mistaken, but the trade paperback for Ain't No Grave comes out tomorrow, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so we wanted to show that off.
Here you are, all 5 issues, nice and packaged for you. I also had read the story too. I think Mel probably did as well.
I think a lot of people were reading it, yeah. But it's like, I really like that George Corona, he's a really good artist, but you can tell in this book, he's definitely got a Scotty Young style that he's working off of, because it's written by Scotty Young, versus like what I want to talk about, the Transformers book. He's doing like a Daniel Warren Johnson style, who's the writer of that one. And I just think that's really neat is all. But yeah, Ain't No Grave Collected Edition also coming out tomorrow. Highly recommend that one. Did you read the end of it?
People,
you don't have to spoil. Don't spoil it if you did.
Hold on. Some of our customers might know me from Wednesday, being that I am famously like 12 weeks behind on reading. I think I'm currently in the month of August catching up.
Okay.
I haven't read the final issue, but I have read up to it.
Okay.
And it is like every time it pops up in my trying to hastily read things, I am excited because it is, interior art is amazing and the storyline is very good as well. And I don't know if people in the stream have read it or not, but the storyline is of this mother who is trying to get her daughter back, and it flashes forward between that time that her daughter disappeared and now her ascending into, like, I think this seven like levels of hell is the vibes I'm getting. So yeah, that is the storyline of it.
Well, Alex says that it had a great ending, so you have something to look forward to.
For it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we talked about a couple of new things. Let's go back to talking about 80-year-old comics.
Oh, God.
I have been talking about, I'm very happy with DC putting out these DC Finest books. And they're just like these big trade paperback reprints of old stuff. And I'm just going to show this off very briefly that they got this Justice Society of America, which is basically the like the Golden Age Justice League, right?
You think that I don't know what the JSA is?
I'm so sorry, Abby. There's a new JSA book out, isn't there?
I have it, yes.
Well, we're going to talk about it, but you know,
I know what the JSA is.
I know that you know. For our viewers who might not know what the JSA is. So I don't know if you're qualified to talk about the new JSA book without reading the entire 100-year history of the Golden Age versions of the characters, though, Abby.
I'll get right
putting
to
that
it,
out
I
there.
promise.
Okay, good.
After the 12 weeks of comics.
But yeah, like I just like to repeat that I love DC's quality of printing their old stuff. Like it's really, really good. Like even this, so like these trade paperbacks, they are printed on. It's not exactly the same paper as the when they do these facsimile issues. The issues themselves are like more like traditional newsprint. And the trade paperbacks have a little bit more like the glossy paper. So it is technically like the trade paperbacks are nicer paper, but so it still looks really good, I guess is what I'm getting at though. Like it's the art is really cleaned up really well, and it looks like the original versions of the comics. And I'm sorry, we're reading funny comments from Alex. Name 3 JSA songs. Yeah, Abby, name three JSA characters. Name 3 JSA characters without looking at the cover.
Oh, I saw the cover, but the Spectre. I know that Jake Garrick is in the JSA. I know that the Hawk, when male and female are in there.
The Hawks.
I also know that I think his name is Wildman. Correct? No, Panther Man. Whatever his name is. Beast. I have no idea.
Wildcat?
Yeah, that guy.
Wildcat. Okay, well, you almost had it.
I did.
It's close enough. Close enough.
Oh, Alan Scott as well.
Yeah, the original Green Lantern. Yeah. Okay, you got me. You know all about the JSA. Did you read? Is there a new JSA comic coming out tomorrow? Let's talk about it.
I don't know if it's in my stack.
Oh my gosh, you didn't come prepared.
I have a lot in this.
It's true. It's
Did
true.
Did you grab it?
I did not.
Okay.
We don't have to talk about it. There is a new JSA coming out, and Abby's been reading it, and she really likes it.
Well, I was a little upset that it is a continuation of the previous series, but still, I love getting the feel of JSA still being in the new, modern, all-in universe.
Gotcha.
That's what the vibes we're getting from it.
That's right. We talked about it briefly, but I can't keep track of
all of our
conversations. Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's just talk about a few things that are coming out tomorrow. One thing I'm just going to briefly mention, there's a new Venom series, Venom #1. I really don't have anything to say about this. I did not read the Venom War crossover.
How could you? There were 1,500 tie-ins.
There were so many of them. I kind of flipped through this. I will give him credit. This is written by Al Ewing, who is a writer that I think is pretty good. And it's the kind of like the setup for this is that there's a new Venom, and it's set up as like a mystery, so you don't know who it is. So there's a couple of people that are suspected to possibly be the new Venom, but it is not revealed in this issue. But I was really glad to see Rick Jones make an appearance, because I just want to say, first of all, I can't remember who I was talking to this. I was talking about this. Who's the new Venom? So I can't spoil it. They don't reveal it in the issue. But I just want to say how weird it is that the character Rick Jones has never shown up in any of the MCU movies. Okay, now this is I'm only saying this because I know you're not a Marvel reader, Abby. Do you even know who Rick Jones is?
No, he has a very basic name.
He does. It's Rick Jones is like the Marvel Universe's Jimmy Olsen.
Okay.
Like he was kind of like sidekick to Captain America for a while. Rick Jones made his first appearance at Hulk #1, and he is the stupid teenager that was in the bomb testing site that Bruce Banner saved, and then Bruce Banner got turned into the Hulk. So Rick Jones has been like a part of the Marvel Universe since the very beginning, but he's always just been like the regular guy. And I think it's Hulk What If. He's in a Hulk What If episode? Well, that's animated though, so I'm not counting that. I think it's really weird that he is not in any of the movies. Like, they don't have an actor who is like the Rick Jones. He, to me, I'm sorry, this rant will be over in about 30 seconds. He, to me, should be the guy that's like in all of the movies that ties them together. You know how they always have like, oh my God, there's a giant s'more behind us.
It's been there for a while.
Oh, I just haven't noticed. But yeah, Rick Jones is the guy. Like, I know you have Nick Fury, like S.H.I.E.L.D. He's kind of in all the movies. Rick Jones should be the one that's in all this. Okay.
So like Stan Lee, you want him to cameo, be like,
no, not a cameo. He should be a character. Like, he should be like a part of all the stories. He should be the one that kind of ties it all together, because that was his role in the comics early on. But no, okay. Going back to the topic at hand, Venom. There's a new Venom. The biggest reason it caught my eye. I did flip through it, and I can't say that I'm super interested in finding out who the new Venom is, but they do have a lot of variant covers, and you know I have very strong feelings about variant covers. But one of the things that I have to admit they suckered me in on is that they're doing some variant covers for the Marvel vs. Capcom designs, and I always loved Venom's sprite in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And it's really cool. Venom was always really cool in that. So if I was gonna get this series, which I'm not, this is the variant cover that I would get. You know what? I'm not even gonna say it's fine, because I wasn't even interested. I wasn't even interested in enough to like read the whole thing. I skimmed it. Okay, Abby, what else you got? What are you excited about?
An oldie but a goodie.
Oh yeah, I wanted to read this. I pulled this off the shelf for you to talk about. Of course, I'm referring to the new Question series. I was curious about this because I really like the Question. The Question is such an interesting character, created by Steve Ditko, creator of Spider-Man, and many other characters. And the Question, I don't know, you might actually be aware of this, Abby. But the Question was the original version of in the Watchmen.
Yep.
Rorschach was based off of the Question. And so I always really like the Question. The Question is a cool character. And so this is a new version of the Question,
Yes.
right?
So in the past, I think on the Justice League animated show, which is what I grew up watching, there was episodes with the Question, and he was a male. But this Question is Renee Montoya, which you will know if you have been reading Detective Comics. She has appeared in that story run. I can't remember the run off the top of my head. But now, if because of the whole All-In special, they have created a new Watchtower. Spoiler alert, not really.
Not
so
really.
now
There it is.
There it is. She is the security director of the new Watchtower, and the premise is there is something trying to break into it, and she is trying with a team of people to find it. My favorite, why I picked it up, one is I do love the Question, and two, she is, well, one, amazing, and two, I have to find it because she does appear, is related to Batwoman, who is one of my all-time favorite characters. There she is, my love.
Yeah.
She has been in a relationship with Renee Montoya before,
Okay.
and so that's why one of the reasons I picked it up. But I ended up loving it because it is like a good mystery novel, and that is what the Question is known for. Is kind of, I think, solving mysteries.
Yeah, it's all about like the detective angle. Is Renee Montoya the same like cop character that was in Batman the Animated Series?
Yes, mate.
Oh, okay.
Sir.
Okay, cool.
And I know she appears a lot in Batman and Detective Comics as I think she was the commissioner for a while as well. And Batman is Renee Montoya. And so also I loved all of the cameos and the life you got to see in the Watchtower since the kickoff of the All-In special. Because I know we didn't get to see like what actually functions in the Watchtower in that special comic.
Yeah.
So, but now you get to see what's going on, and all of our favorite characters do make an appearance. There's a bunch of cameos on this page as well. Also, her looking beautiful.
Constantine?
He is in there. You might notice Stargirl up in this corner, and like there's little
Creeper.
tiny ones. Yep.
Creeper, also created by Steve Ditko.
So like there's a bunch. There's right up here. You can't even see it. He's so tiny. Is Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a bunch of cameos, and it is trying to give you like a little look into what is going on, and it's just. You get to see why she is now part of the Justice League. Okay. Renee Montoya doesn't really love humans and beings.
But I always like that. I like characters that kind of exist on the fringes of superhero comics. Like you would have characters that would essentially be like not super cops, but like you would have somebody who would just be like a detective investigating superhero related things. Like whenever you need a super detective, you know, you would need somebody like that, or you would need somebody to just be the head of security of the Justice League satellite. Like you can't just have the satellite and not have like an operations of some kind. So I always like characters that exist like that, where they're not strictly superheroes, but they fill a needed role in the superhero dynamic or system.
Another thing in the Question is you get to see a bunch of the teams that has formed and their roles. I think also in the Justice League Unlimited issue, you also see a lot more. Like there's the Adam Project, the Challengers, all of those side characters and side issues where we're introducing a lot more of the All-In, what the Justice League wants to become, and you see a bit more of that in this issue.
Yeah, we talked about the new Justice League last week when it came out, and I really liked it, despite I think my feelings was I didn't love it the way I loved some of other Wade's other stuff, but I just liked that like classic Justice League was back, you know.
I do love that they're hopefully introducing a lot more side characters. I think we were talking about how in World's Finest with Dan Mora and Mark Waid, that each issue there's a new kind of side character that appears.
Yeah.
And I feel like with all of these teams forming, that's going to be what this Justice League is going to be.
Yeah, and if anybody could juggle that many characters, I think it would be Mark Waid and Dan Mora. Okay, while we're talking about DC stuff, I promise we might have a Marvel book or two to talk about.
I have a few indies as well.
I do too, yeah. But you know, there's really only one book that's like in my regular pull that I'm reading that comes out tomorrow, and that is Absolute Superman #2. And I've been kind of like not what's the word on the fence, ambivalent toward the Absolute stuff. I liked the first issue of Absolute Superman. I especially really liked all the Krypton stuff. It's written by Jason Aaron. I was less enamored with the art in this comic. I think it's well done, but it's not as interesting looking as either Absolute Batman or Absolute Wonder Woman.
Oh, issue 2 came out last week, right?
Yeah, Absolute Wonder Woman
I loved
2.
it.
I did too. Absolute Wonder Woman might be kind of the best of the Absolute books right now. But I did really like Absolute Superman. I kind of like the vibe with all the peacemakers and like this corporation that's like a soldier for hire corporation that just goes around mostly to third world locations to try and like bring peace. And that's who Lois Lane is working for. You get to see like a little glimpse into the like Kryptonian technology, and I kind of appreciate. So like here's something that really gets my goat when we talk about Superman, is that I really hate when people have to figure out a way to like modernize Superman or like make the look work. And this is like the whole undies no undies thing. I'm 100% on team undies. I it just that's the look. That's Superman is to have the red trunks. And so Absolute Superman doesn't have that. So that like I'm in favor of the trunks, but they're not there. But I appreciate that there's something going on with the cape, where the cape it feels like it kind of has the same thing, where the cape is like antiquated and silly, so they're not going to have the cape. But I do like the way they do it, where it's like this nanotechnology. So it's sort of it's like not magical like Spawn's cape, but it is a little bit. Sorry, I just noticed something. It's being stacked behind us. Somebody's being a goof. But I do like that the way the cape operates, like it's not just a cape. It's like a piece of nano smart technology that sometimes is a cape when he needs like a cape-like thing. But so it gives the effect of being a cape. Like it makes it look like he has a cape, even though it's not technically a cape part of the costume.
It is part of like an AI that's with him, like Soul.
Like which is a part of his suit, the Soul, yeah. Which I kind of like, and I really just like talking about the writing. This is written by Jason Aaron, and I really liked the some of the themes of like humanity versus automation and AI specifically is like kind of a buzzword that gets talked a lot in this, where they show there's a scene early on when Clark is on Krypton and he's being chastised for writing a paper instead of just using generative AI to create the paper for him. Like in the schools, all the scientists are like, just use the technology. That's what it's there for. And he's like, no, I wrote it myself. And so he fails because he wrote it instead of using the absolute perfect wisdom of the computer.
I kind of took it as a that the students used the archives to gather the information, while he had the information himself from the red thing, where they had written their paper, but they used the correct like citations, you could say, from using
and that's exactly what it is, and it sows the seeds of him being a journalist, because that's the whole thing. Is the paper he wrote was based on information that he acquired himself through journalism, whereas they don't, like the school didn't want that. They're like, just I'll consult the archives and use the generative predictive text to just regurgitate the information that's there. So it was really smart, like a nice way to integrate just a lot of the Superman themes of classic Superman into this new version. But yeah, I'm really liking it. Absolute Superman 2, really solid. I think I said I'm done reading Absolute Batman. I just can't follow that.
It was so bad.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that. But Superman and Wonder Woman have been really good.
I agree. Wonder Woman was just, I was reading it because I couldn't read anything on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, it's just so good. They introduced Steve. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was good. All right, what else do you have, Abby?
Let's see. We'll do a Marvel.
Do a Marvel. We'll throw a Marvel a bone.
Yep.
Oops. Wrong button. All right, there we go.
Alrighty, so
Deadpool Wolverine.
I have realized that this is the bound copy of the short tidbits you'd get at the end of Marvel issues not too long ago, after the Deadpool Wolverine.
I think it was in August, so it would have been like right around the time that after the movie came out, and they did this 8-part short series that ran across like 8 comics that month. I didn't even realize that was happening. I think it was one of them was in the back of X-Men #2.
Yes,
and I was reading it and I was like, what is all this? Like, because at first I was like, oh, Deadpool and Wolverine, they're in the X-Men. So I was like, this doesn't have anything to do with the originals. And then I realized it was an actual just separate story. I'm just stupid. So this is the collected version of that. It's a one-shot comic. It just collects that whole story. Written by Ryan North, who is writing Fantastic Four right now. I know that's got a lot of fans, right, Alex?
So this is
You guys are. Wait a minute, Alex. Am I reading that comic correctly? You're only seeing our faces right now. Is that not? Oh my goodness. Have we not been? Is the camera not? Oh my goodness. Well then, like I said, we're working out the kinks on this.
There it
So
is.
Deadpool Wolverine. You know just imagine how cool these comic pages look. The whole stream.
My
Oh great.
favorite is he is now a wrong page. He is now a furry.
Well, you know what? Lucky for you, we're both like pretty easy on the eyes. So I'm glad. I'm glad we could at least give you that.
I'm now happy that all the faces I've been making when
I know. I know. We thought we were off camera. I'm sitting here picking my nose on stream.
So,
oh my goodness. Okay, well.
This is what the question. So none of you guys saw.
Yeah, nobody saw the question what we were talking
about. So here
about.
it is. I have to make sure that they see Batwoman then, at least once in the show.
Like I said, we got a whole new setup and we're still figuring it out.
There she is.
Beautiful, beautiful.
My baby.
Okay.
I love her.
Well, let's. I guess since we can't use the camera to show the comic pages, we'll just kind of blast through a couple of more books.
Yep.
Just something that we recommend. And you're just going to have to come into the store and look at them yourself. So there's a few. Here's something we'll talk about briefly. I didn't want to flip through them a whole lot anyway. There are several holiday specials that come out tomorrow. There is Marvel's Holiday Tales to Astonish, which has 3 short stories in it. One of them has Doctor Doom, or maybe they all have Doctor Doom. I don't know. I can't really follow most Marvel books anymore, but they exist. Also is the Top Cow Holiday Special. Now this one piques my interest a little bit more just because it's Top Cow. And Top Cow traditionally has been some of the most cheesecake comics. But also just like hardcore and cool, like the Darkness. Like anybody remember the Darkness? Yeah, there he is with a Santa hat. So there's that one. There's also DC's Batman Smells Robin Laid an Egg, which has Poison Ivy and Batman on it. And then,
but I noticed, because I didn't read that one, I would have, but I flipped through it, and Damian Wayne did not make an appearance, even though he's on the cover. So I didn't pick it up.
Well, which there's a Robin
Jason.
there. Oh, that's Jason.
That's Jason.
Oh, that's Jason as the ghost of Christmas past or future, maybe because Joker killed him. That's funny. I didn't read this. I just think it's funny looking. And then there was Batman Dark Knight, which I think is.
I have that one.
Yeah, I thought you brought. Yeah, right here. Silent Night. Sorry, not Dark Knight. Silent Night. How silly of me.
Issue 2 of the series. Issue 1 came out last week. This is just continuing on the story, and as you can see in the cover, someone awesome makes an appearance.
Yeah,
Etrigan.
Etrigan, the demon. I like this cover. But yeah, we talked about this one last week with Celeste. I've already forgotten her name. She was on the stream last week. Yeah, it's Batman teams up with Santa Claus. What more could you want?
This kind of series, though, I love is because it's Damian Wayne teaming up with Santa, with Zatanna, which is another one of my favorites.
Right. Zatanna.
And who's coming out with another mini-series.
Okay. All right. What else do you have?
There's this one as well, another holiday. It's called Dread the Halls, I believe.
Dread the Halls. I like the cover to this a lot. This looks really good.
So this is kind of like just the horror one, where there's, I think, maybe 3 stories. And it's really cool because the kid gets turned into a cookie at one point.
That's on the cover there.
Yeah.
He's like a little gingerbread man.
Yep, I won't say what happens to the cookie. But, so yeah, it was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was absolutely amazing in horror. Not a lot of gore, though.
Yeah, horror Christmas is becoming more and more of a thing, I think. It's always kind of been around, but...
Saying the guy whose wife is obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas.
That might have been... It's not the first, because, horror Christmas... Yeah. Christmas-themed horror movies go back a ways, but I think that's definitely one of the things that... I don't know, just brought it to the forefront for a lot of people. They just really like horror with Christmas. Yeah. All right, what else do you have? What else is coming out tomorrow?
Let's talk about a indie comic called, I can't read,
Juvenile.
There we go. That's what it's called. The premise is that there is a sickness that only attacks juveniles, and there is now a pill that can slow the progression of it so they can kind of live longer. There's symptoms of hearing voices, of being able to do things, and so this new kid comes into the facility and things start to get weird. Not in that way, but a different way.
In a different way?
The art is pretty basic comic book art. Not basic,
I
but
like the look of this.
yeah, it is pretty good. I love the
It's pretty good
storyline.
looking. It's not super stylized. I think that's like kind of what you're thinking. Like it's not overly stylized.
It's also it's a choice because in this story your childhood is kind of now masked in bleakness and nothing. So there's not a lot of color.
Yeah, it's all very bland.
So it's very beige.
But on purpose.
But on purpose because their childhood is now not great. And so that's why there's pops of color only come up when I won't show that because that's the last page.
Yeah,
but when things happen. The cover art was done by the person who do Crave and Violent Flowers. And those are ones that I really adored. No! And that is just something that I like.
So also coming out, I have like 2 other main things to talk about that come out tomorrow. And both of them are like the first issue of a series that they've been on a hiatus for like 4 to 5 years. So first thing to mention is Snot Girl 16 comes out tomorrow. This is by Brian Lee O'Malley, who is, of course, you all remember the creator of Scott Pilgrim. And this is his series Snot Girl. And I've never read Snot Girl, but just because I never did get around to reading it. But the last issue, issue 15, I think it was in 2020. Yeehaw, new Snot Girl. So I just read this issue, which is the only issue of Snot Girl that I've read, but it's a new story arc. And you know what? It was, here you go, here it is. It was just fine. I might have liked it more if I'd read the whole series up until this point, I'll confess. Because it's like it's a really nice slice of life relationship drama. So I like Brian Lee O'Malley's writing a lot. He just like writes really natural characters. So it's really good, but I can't imagine that if you haven't read the first 3 trade paperbacks, you're not gonna get a whole lot out of this. But it's not illustrated by Brian Lee O'Malley. That's why the art is a little different. It's illustrated by Leslie Hung, and she has really really nice style. I actually have to be careful which page this is like there's a lot of inappropriate stuff in this comic, but
you're trying to find.
I'm trying to find like a good page, but like it's good looking art. But I may have just permanently corrupted Abby.
No, already happened. A while ago.
Okay, good.
It just surprised me because I looked down on the one panel.
It's the most inappropriate panel. But talking about inappropriate panels, the other book that I'm super excited about that comes out tomorrow is one of my favorite comics, legitimately one of my favorite comics, Empowered by Adam Warren. Oh, this is another one that hasn't had, I think the previous volume 11 of this also came out in like 2019. It's been so long since he did this. And I'm a little disappointed that our downward camera isn't working, so I can't show off some of his awesome artwork. But it is also one that I have to be really careful about which pages I show. But
that's what really happens on the stream, huh?
Yeah, that is what really happens. Like there's some nice bondage panels right there, just for everybody that needs a little bit of bondage in their life. This comic is so cool. I mean, you can kind of see from the cover. There's a lot of like half naked women on it. But I love the premise of this comic. Oh my, yes. I love the premise to Empowered, which is the main character, her name is Empowered, she's a superhero. That's her in the torn costume. And she has this super suit, which makes her super strong and has lots of superpowers. And it makes her invulnerable. But the problem is the suit itself is incredibly fragile and tears at the slightest touch. So she tries to be a superhero, but every time she gets into a fight, her clothes fall off because every time like she gets beat up or gets into a fight, it starts ripping. And as the suit rips more, she loses her power. And so there's a lot of it's play for laughs. It's a comedic book, and it's a lot of like there's a lot of like it's erotic, but not like super trashy, I guess is what I could say. But definitely recommend Empowered. Really, really, really good book. All right, I think we're gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon. But yeah, we got 2 books. Let's say what do you got?
So
Abby?
we were talking about all empowered and everything. But this, we're gonna go back to religion here. Exorcism at 606 whatever. Penn, the White House.
I was gonna say the White House. You know what that is, right?
This is a variant cover which I picked up because it inspired. It looked a lot like Soma, which was a different black distillery book that came out a while ago that had amazing. Yeah. This is issue 2. Issue 1 already had came out, and it's basically the president's daughter becomes a little weird, and she has like a demon inside of her, and they're talking about exorcising her. The artwork is very dark and a lot of just, that's what the premise is of, it's corrupted kind of, and it's just really good. I really like it, and there's just a lot of side characters, and you also get a peek at like a female president as well, and the issues that would face, as well as a little virus called the Havana virus that is looking a lot like exorcism. They're kind of hinting that it is exorcism, like a demon possession.
Demon possession, yeah.
And so that's why I really am enjoying this, because I'm all about all things spooky and demonish. The other one I wanted to talk about
book
is Batgirl. So this is following Cassandra Cain and her mom, Lady Shiva, right?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay.
There's too many Bat characters. I can't keep up with all of them.
This is one of the best.
No, she's a good character. I just can't keep up with all of them.
So Lady Shiva, I believe, is her mother, and they are both being hunted by a secret ninja organization called the Unburied. And this is just issue 2 of that series. I absolutely adore it because Cassandra Cain is one of the Bat fam, and I really love her. And if you want more Cassandra Cain, I also have a trade paperback called Batgirls, which is on my recommendation shelf.
That's right.
With Stephanie Spoiler and Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, as well as Oracle. But this is it's just really good. The art is amazing, and you get a lot from Cassandra's point of view, which I know doesn't happen a lot because she's such a reserved character.
Well, all right, everybody. I think we're going to wrap it up a little early since we don't have our camera. We can't really show off too much of the art. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in. You know, like our good friend Dan says, there's lots of comics out there for everybody. It's not just superheroes. There's something for everybody. So you should definitely buy more comics. You should try to get it from us, Fantasy Books and Games, which you can't get them from us. Get them from somewhere. But you should get them from us because you can talk to me and Abby about comics. All righty. Alex, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see everybody else, whenever we see you. All righty. Bye.
Have a good one.